What is up, Pacer Nation? Welcome to the Pacer Pulse podcast, the heartbeat of Indiana basketball. And the Pacers beat the Celtics for their first three-game win streak of the season off a Pascal Siakam, I guess floater bank shot type of shot, I guess. And in the last 10 seconds of this game to beat the Boston Celtics 98-96. And it was a very low-scoring affair, tough defense most of the game, a lot of missed shots, you could say. It was just kind of a very weird game. But Siakam, he had a solid game on both ends of the floor. Huff led the team in the plus-minus at like a plus 20, I think it was, for this game. And Nembhard had 9 assists. It was just kind of like an all-around effort from all the guys tonight. And like I said, it was mostly Siakam and Huff that really stood out this game. And Huff continues his good play as of late. Jarace Walker even received some praise from Rick Carlisle after this game. And continues to play a little better the last couple games in terms of just his all-around game, offensively and defensively. And he's still hitting his threes, playing a little more locked in on the defensive end too, rebounding the basketball. So good things you want to see from Jarace as well. And like I said, just a spinning bank shot type of floater from Siakam to seal the win. And like I said, we are on our first three-game winning streak of the season, guys. So it's a great way to respond to coming off a 13-game losing streak, the worst in franchise history. So it's nice to see the guys bounce back. So the Celtics, they did not play Jaylen Brown this game. I don't know if he had a prior injury before this game or what we've seen kind of from these teams a lot this year is they're resting their best players against us because we're just not really a threat, they think, or they're sleeping on us. But I digress. We still get the win. I don't care what caveats you want to put next to it. And like I said, we won our 9th game on the season. And I think from what you hear from the players talking about the game, obviously they're in higher spirits because we're on this winning streak. We're starting to win some games. And you can tell it's kind of starting to permeate the guys a little bit. And maybe they're going to start getting some more life back into them where, I don't know, we play the Toronto tomorrow. So I'm curious to see how we come out energy-wise. If we're still looking the same, we've been moving the ball very well lately, rebounding better. Been getting tons of assists in these games. I mean, I can't remember what we finished. Let me look at what we finished in this game. So assist total, we had 29 assists total in this game, but I know just the other game, like the other day, I think it was against, man, I'm really forgetting who it was against, but we had like 37 assists in the entire game. I think it was against Miami. So really moving the ball well, and we're starting to kind of play almost like we did last year. I think that's just a combination of what Rick was saying post-game of guys just getting healthy and guys still trying to get healthy even after coming back and being able to play. And just a lot of these things with guys just coming back and starting to actually get your team that's kind of been in this system. And he gave praise to Huff too, where he was like, hey, you know, he's come into a whole new environment, whole new system he's got to learn. And he's been playing better. It's been a little hard for him since he's been with our team because of all those factors. And then the fact that we haven't had our team pretty much out there the entire season. So he was given some, like, I don't want to say excuses for Huff for why he's been struggling and why it may take more time, but I think we have to realize that as fans ourselves. I get caught up in it sometimes with somebody that's new to the team like Huff, where he's brand new to a whole new system, a whole new locker room, just a whole new environment. It's going to take some time to get used to all that newness, I guess I would say. But I really like Huff's attitude, even if maybe he might joke around too much sometimes and he might get dinged for that, but I do think he like brings a positive influence into the locker room in that regard. So I want to say I'm very happy with how he's played lately. Some awesome like reverse dunks that you won't ever see from any other player in the NBA. And I know like the media keeps asking like all the different players on the team, Rick even, like, what is it about with Huff and these reverse dunks? And they don't even have any clue. It's a fun thing to talk about, guys, I guess, but it's just something that makes Huff very unique in the NBA where you don't see any other players really doing that. Or even Johnny Furphy in an interview that he did today after like a practice or something was saying how he can't even like move his shoulder that way. And I think Jarace was even saying the same thing. So it was just funny to see. So I'm going to do this breakdown a little differently, guys. I did take notes throughout this game, but I watched the replay. I didn't watch the game live. So I don't have like the stats per quarter as usual. I have the team stats for the end of the game and what the players did. So I'm going to skip over that and just kind of go over like what I saw throughout the game. the good and the bad. So to start this game, we started Andrew, Nembhard, Neesmith, Furphy, Siakam, and Huff. So I think that's been a pretty solid lineup so far. You can see the ball moving a lot with that lineup, the continuity we kind of see getting out in transition to again like we used to before. And I've been liking the ball movement with that team, with that lineup, and just with the team recently in general. So it makes sense why we went back to that. And I mean, the Celtics, they have Kata, who's a bigger center. So obviously having Huff out there to kind of match that was pretty crucial. So this is kind of midway into the first quarter here, but I saw this like awesome wraparound pass from Jay Huff to Shepard in the corner who hit the three. And like Huff had it down low and he just literally like wrapped it around one of the defenders and just whipped it out to the corner for three from Shepard. And Huff continues to have these flashes of this playmaking ability that obviously we never seen that from Miles in his time here. So it's something we're not really used to, I guess, from a big man besides like with Sabonis. If we're going to count him, like we saw with Sabonis a little bit, but that was the last kind of passing big man we've had. And it's nice to see Huff being able to make those reads and plays, especially as he gets more familiar with the other guys and like where their spots are on the team. And then Murphy, he split two defenders on a pick and roll with a pass to Jay Huff, who hit like this floater off the glass. It was on like the left hand side of the court. But I wanted to highlight that because it was a beautiful read by Furphy, and it's not really something Furphy for is like his passing, but maybe it was a simple pass, but he literally like split two defenders. The Celtics kind of got caught up in some miscommunication and didn't know who to like the switch or not, but he like read it perfectly. Furphy did and hit Huff, got the assist, and I just wanted to highlight that because it's another little, I want to say like skill that we might want to keep an eye out on for Furphy as he continues to grow his confidence and just playing more and building more experience. So it's cool to see him even make that kind of pass in general, and maybe he can show. I mean, he's not going to ever be like a playmaker out there, but just a more connective type of passer who can even make some plays, I guess, out of the pick and roll sometimes. I don't know. So it was very interesting to see, but the defense was looking so solid early on in the first quarter, and we were playing with good pace. Like I said, we were playing fast, kind of like our old Pacer way, it seems, where we're really getting the ball out and moving, whipping the ball around, not really much stagnant offense. But at one point, the Celtics, they were on like an 8-0 run, and Potter, he got an offensive rebound, he got an offensive rebound and a putback to end the run. And going into the second quarter, Potter, he hit a three early on in the second quarter. TJ hit Neesmith for a three, so we're really like making it rain from three early on in the second quarter. And then Neesmith hits Siakam inside, who finishes with the and-one, but Siakam missed a free throw, but still, it was a good read by Neesmith, good pass. Just highlights that connectiveness we've been having on offense lately. And then Nembhard, he hit Quentin Jackson for a three. And Walker hit the step-through floater with like defenders all over him for a nice 2-point shot. Very strong move by Walker. And he's been playing pretty awesome the last couple games, so I really wanted to highlight him. And Rick has clearly seen that too, as he's rewarded him with more minutes. I think he had like 25 in this game total. And you could see where Rick's really trying to point him out and build up his confidence, I think, even more. And Jarace even kind of referenced that after, I think it was media day today at a practice where they asked him about what Rick said, and he was just saying, oh, it's awesome to hear, from the top dog or whatever he referenced Rick as. To like hear that from your coach and kind of build his confidence up in that way. But it was a great move by Walker. And then Huff, he hit a three to bring it within like one at this point in the second quarter. It's a very back and forth game, very close game, pretty much throughout the entire game. Then Huff, he had a shot fake and takes one dribble, passes to Walker for a three. So you really see more and more plays from Jay Huff just about every game where he can do things off the dribble. And I wonder if like defenses get so caught off guard with this that they don't really expect it, and maybe they just don't even think something's good like gonna come of it. But you can really tell how much space we get out there on the floor whenever Jay Huff is able to stretch the court, the way he has been here the last couple games. And then Huff, he had Huff, he had a shot fake and takes one dribble pass to Walker for a three, like I said. And then after that play, Huff hit a three. So, like I said, he's really creating that space inside for guys to get inside the paint. And it definitely helps Siakam because we know he likes to live inside there. And he's such a good finisher inside, getting like slithering his way inside and to the rim. And Walker, he had a nice pass to Siakam inside, who hit the and-one. So it's just kind of another beautiful read for Jarace. And Jarace is very good at like getting to the center of the paint there, getting like the pass and then making an extra pass to an open man. He's shown some ability in that front, especially if the teams are playing zone. And I've been liking what I see from Walker in that aspect. And then Huff, he had a shot fake and got like I think it was Derek White and one other guy. He shot faked. Both the guys jumped. And then he drove in and went for like a reverse dunk. A patented reverse dunk from Jay Huff. And he had a couple of those this game. And then Huff, he got another reverse dunk off like a Nembhard pass inside where he just literally like reached up behind him and just threw it in. And he already had like 14 points in the first half at this point in the second quarter. So he was really on fire this game. Nembhard, he had Neesmith for a three. Then the Pacers, we had like 17 assists so far into the second quarter with like 4 minutes left in that quarter. And then Nembhard, he had a pass to Siakam inside for two. And just, we were really getting the ball movement. Like I said, 17 assists in one half. That's a pretty remarkable number. So going into the third quarter, Huff, he gets a steal on Keita. And I just want to highlight a good defensive play by Jay Huff. And then on the next play, he hit a three. So really, he's been locked in lately, and it's awesome to see because even he said in the post-game interview after this game how he's been in the gym like extra time in the gym lately, trying to get some shots up. So hopefully, like getting to see his shots start to fall more from three. And you can tell he's really been putting in the work because it's starting to really pay off. And then Furphy had solid defense on Payton Pritchard at one point, which I wanted to highlight because it shows Furphy's like versatility on which guys he can defend. So Pritchard's a very crafty short guard where he's very hard to stay in front of. And the fact that Furphy was able to do that on this play and force a miss and force just a tough shot by Pritchard in general, it goes back to what I've kind of said about Furphy lately, where I think he's got versatility enough to defend possibly 1 through 4. I don't want to say 5 because obviously there's big centers out there. So like 1 through 4, I think Furphy can kind of defend those positions, even if it's not all game, but like being able to like switch out onto those guys is huge for your defense. And then Nembhard, he had a drive and step through for a layup. And then Furphy, he had like the strong like one-handed rebound. I thought it was an awesome play by Furphy. And then Huff hit a three, and we had 21 assists so far into the third quarter here. And then the Pacers, we were on like an 8-0 run at this point. Nembhard, he had a turnover that leads to a Keita dunk, so he still gets some sloppy passes here and there, but he had 9 assists this game to like 3 turnovers, so still a positive overall in that aspect. And then Nembhard, he had a spin move and hits the mid-range shots. Nembhard started getting some shots to go this third quarter, but he struggled overall from the field. Not from 3, though. He shot very well from 3. And then Siakam, he hit Nembhard for a 3. And then Shepherd had a pass to Siakam on the fast break, who finishes with the 2. And then Siakam hit the mid-range shots, and Nembhard hit another 3. And then Nembhard had a steal during this sequence, so he had a really great sequence there, back-to-back. And then we got an offensive rebound, or we give up an offensive rebound that led to a Pritchard 3, which was kind of like killed our momentum a little bit during that run. Anytime a team gets second chance opportunities and hits like a shot after that is just always a kind of a momentum killer. And then Walker hit a 3, then he hit another 3, so back-to-back threes. And the whole third quarter, there was like no fouls called. They said that during the broadcast, if you guys watched on Peacock. They literally said like, oh, we didn't have a single foul call that entire third quarter, which is very weird. And if you watch this game, maybe it was just me, but it seems like one of the quickest games like I've watched all year. And I think it's just because both teams barely shot any free throws. I mean, I think each team shot 10 or less free throws in this game, which is pretty unreal. And I know the league has been cutting back on the foul calls a lot, which it is awesome to see because you want to see like more freedom out there, guys being able to play and not so many stoppages because we already get that so much with like play reviews and I don't know, like different other little things they stop the game for. So it helps like keep the flow of the game going. And that's what this game really felt like. There was always like a constant flow back and forth, not much stoppage. They were just really letting the guys play. So going into the fourth quarter, TJ, he had a nice mid-range shot. Quentin Jackson hits a mid-range jumper. And then Quentin Jackson hits a 3. So these are like two pivotal made baskets by Quentin Jackson to kind of give us a little cushion here, a little lead. And then TJ hit a pull-up jumper. Walker, he had like a terrible pass that was like straight to Keita at one point. Only like gonna nitpick a couple things with Walker. He still has some of those head-scratching turnovers. But all in all, he had, I would say, a pretty productive game, even though the plus-minus wasn't great. And then Siakam, he had a pull-up jumper with contact, which was an awesome play. And then Nembhard hit a 3. Nembhard had a skip pass for a turnover that like went straight to another Celtics player. Just a bad pass, especially in a crucial part of the game here, like getting into like the last 6 minutes or so of the fourth quarter. And then Siakam, he had a tip in off a Shepherd missed three. So these were like some pivotal moments in the game where Siakam continues this come up clutch and honestly enhance like the argument that why he should be on the All-Star team even more with his play. And then Siakam, he had a block on Payton Pritchard on a layup attempt with like 1 minute left in the game. I feel like that was very not talked about at all. Just an amazing defensive play by Siakam to block it, and I think it kept us within like up like at least 2 or so still. It was something like that where it was a clutch block. I mean, I don't know why it wasn't talked about enough, but Siakam is definitely slept on when it comes to as being an elite defender. And yeah, maybe it's not always consistent because of the offensive load he carries, but such a beautiful block by Siakam. And then Siakam, he had a floater, like I said, to win the game off the backboard. And after that, obviously, like I said, we're on a 3-game win streak now, guys, and that was the game. It was a very quick game. And I actually enjoyed, like, I haven't watched much of the Peacock broadcast. I don't even know if we've been on Peacock this year, but it was a pretty fun broadcast. They had Scalabrine, Robbie Hummel, if you're a Purdue fan, you know that name, and just kind of like some fun little back and forth banter and just like the way they were hyping up the guys at times. It was kind of a different, I don't know, taste of what we're used to hearing with Quinn and Chris, who are great themselves. But all in all, just a fun game, guys. We got to see guys really go out there and play basketball and not have to be hindered by so many foul calls, which I think was excellent. So I hope they continue to stick with that, the NBA. But like I said, Siakam hits the game winner. We win 98-96 and beat the Boston Celtics, who have been on a roll this year, who have been the complete opposite of us because before the season, everybody, all the analysts and media was like, oh, the Celtics and Pacers are going to be horrible this year, so count both them out. So give the Celtics props for what they've done this year. They've been quite phenomenal, and they have a chance to even be the second seed, which is just crazy. So I'll break it like quarter by quarter here. So the Boston Celtics, they won the first quarter, 24-19, and we won the second quarter. So usually we've been having bad second quarters, but we picked it up as a late, so we've been a lot better about it. We won the second quarter, 34-32. The third quarter, we won 26-21, and the fourth quarter was tied up 19-19, and that basically, add all that up, that splits the difference as to why we won by 2. So squeaking out those other quarters and really winning the second and third quarters really helped us win this game, especially after a slow start in the first quarter and even a slow, pretty rough scoring quarter in the fourth, but luckily the Celtics weren't hitting anything either. So the team stats at the end of this game, we shot 46% from the field, 43% from 3. The Celtics shot 46% from the field, 26% from 3. So that's kind of like the last couple games here where teams have shot really bad from 3 against us. So I don't know that I think that's a lot of it, like a testament to our defense lately too. And I don't know how much it is of just teams missing shots too. I mean, I think it's kind of in the middle. I don't think it's one way or the other. I think it's our defense has been better, but also like they're missing shots as well. But you'll take that any day. I mean, for as bad as we were shooting for most this year, and the fact that we're starting to shoot a little better as a team is awesome to see. And the assists, the Celtics had 22, we had 29. Rebounds, Celtics had 46, we had 40, so it was close. But the Celtics had 10 offensive rebounds to our 5, so we're still inconsistent in that regard with offensive rebounding. Steals are pretty even. They had 9, we had 8. Blocks, we had 3 blocks, they had 1. Turnovers, we're dead even. We each had 12. Points off turnovers, though, they had 16 points off turnovers. We had 11, so they capitalized more. Probably helped them stay within striking distance in this game. Points in the paint, though, we continue to kind of get beat pretty bad in points in the paint. We only had 38 points in the paint to the Celtics 54. So we literally scored 60 points outside of the paint. That's a lot of points outside of the paint. So I hope we can kind of address that at some point. You can't just rely on 3-point shots. I think I don't know. I'm not a big proponent of living and dying by the 3. I think that's kind of what happened, even though the Celtics scored a lot in the paint this game. That's kind of been their MO for a lot of the last few years once they started really chucking up 3s, and that's all they do. They live and die by the 3. But luckily, they didn't hit them tonight, so we got lucky in that regard, but also our defense was great as well. So Aaron Nesmith finished the game with 6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Andrew Nembhard finished with 13 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals. Murphy, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Siakam, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. So continues to be just a steady presence all around. Huff, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Walker, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Shepard, 5 points, 2 rebounds, and assist. McConnell, 5 points, 5 assists. Quentin Jackson, 8 points, 1 assist, and 1 block. And Micah Potter, 5 points, 4 rebounds, and assist. And the plus-minus leaders, like I said to start this podcast, Huff led the team at a plus 20. So I'm pretty sure that might be back-to-back games. I think he even led it. No, I think Walker led it against the Heat, but he was very close to Walker. So very high, like impactful games from Huff the last couple games. If you take any stock to plus-minus, I know there's like so many factors into that. But I don't know. It's an interesting stat. I don't live or die by it, but I do think it helps paint a picture somewhat. And then Nesmith was a -8, so kind of a rougher game, I guess, if you take that to heart. Andrew Nembhard plus 12, Furphy plus 12, Siakam plus 11. And then Walker was a -5, Shepard -16, TJ -10, Quentin Jackson a plus 6, Micah Potter -11. So that was the game, guys, and that was kind of the leaders. Like I said, it was kind of more of like an all-around team effort and a low-scoring outing. So really, it was like Huff and Siakam that led the way for the team, and then Nembhard kind of getting the assists and rebounding decently. And he struggled from the field. He was like 5 of 14, so not a good shooting night. But he did shoot 3 of 5 from 3. And then Nesmith, he was 2 for 9, so not a great shooting night for him. 2 of 6 from 3. But Huff, 4 of 7 from 3, 8 of 12 from the field. Awesome shooting game. Siakam, 10 of 15 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3. So great from the field, like very great from the field. Walker, he was 4 for 9 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. So continue to shoot very good from three-point line. Decent from the field. You hope to see higher. And then Shepard was 1 for 6 from 3 tonight. So kind of a back, what do you want to call, like not a regression fully tonight, but definitely not a great shooting night from Shepard from 3, which he doesn't usually shoot that many threes either. So it was nice to see him put them up at least. Quentin Jackson was 2 or 4 from 3. Micah Potter 1 for 3. And Micah Potter 2 for 6 from the field. Quentin Jackson 3 of 5. TJ 2 of 5 from the field. He hit 1 3. Or no, excuse me, 1 free throw. I thought it was a 3. So just all around great win. And as much as I like seeing us play competitive basketball and winning, I'm still in the camp of like, I don't want us to win too many games because I don't want to ruin our odds at like a high pick. We're already this far, halfway into the season almost. And I know we still got some room where it's like winning these games aren't going to kill us. But I do think we're tied with the Kings now for one of the worst records, and the Pelicans, who their pick goes to Atlanta. So we definitely don't want to be better than those teams, I would say, or at least on the same level. And then I think the Wizards, they're at like 10 games. So I don't know, guys. Let me know how you feel in the comments on YouTube. Like, are you happy about the wins? Are you? I mean, I guess it's cool to see wins every now and then for sure, but I don't want us to detriment our position in the draft. I know that's probably too soon to talk about, but this is a franchise-altering draft for sure. So it gets you like a little worried, but I think the team's going to ultimately know the assignment as like after the All-Star break comes, and I think we'll see guys kind of sit more. But that's what I get worried about with this win streak. It's awesome to see us win 3 in a row. Don't get me wrong. I miss us winning games, but also I want a top 4 pick at least in this draft. So let me know what you guys think in the YouTube comments. If you could please like, comment, subscribe on YouTube as well. Let me know your thoughts. And then always, if you guys don't mind, please leave in a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It would mean a lot to me in this podcast and really help me grow this podcast. I'm just a fan like y'all. Want to converse with y'all fans, make this a bigger thing, make it a kind of a big community where we all can talk Pacer basketball and really appreciate the team. And a few other things I wanted to touch on after this game was the fact that I saw something reported today. So we know how like the NBA aggregates these sort of things, but I saw an article where it showed that Ben Mathurin had like deleted some Pacer photos off his profile on Instagram, and that he took the Pacers out of his bio and then replaced his photo on Instagram with like just a black background. I don't know what that is. Some people are hinting that it's a possible sign that he's going to end up being traded. Take that what you will. I mean, I know like it happens all the time in the NBA, guys. So I don't know. Like maybe he's just trying to like get off social media and like not really pay attention to those things, or maybe it is a sign. So I don't know. Whatever you guys want to take that. I really hope we don't trade Matherin. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a proponent of his. I think he brings a lot to this team that fans kind of underestimate being like important. And you don't really let young talent go. And you definitely don't trade that for, let's say, a starting center of like Daniel Gafford's ability, which I would be a huge fan of getting Daniel Gafford. Don't get me wrong, but not for Benedict Mather. And that's not even close to the same level of type of player that you should be looking to get in return. Now, if it was like a Walker Kessler, okay, like it's a whole different story, but like I don't think that's possible either. But I'm just saying, guys, like I don't know. Take what you want out of that. I don't know if you guys saw that article yourselves, so I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on that too. But all in all, I just think sometimes like it's just posturing, or I don't know what you want to call it, just dumb stuff. Who cares about social media sometimes? But maybe it does paint a picture of like what could be happening. Maybe the team actually told Mather and like, hey, we're putting you in trade packages and we're looking to really move you before the deadline. And maybe that's what it was. I mean, I think some people are like, oh, like he's turning this back on the team. I don't know if you would think that, but like it's a business, guys. So like they're gonna be telling players what's up normally. I think most like good ran organizations would do that. So I'm just curious to see what happens. If it was just nothing, if he's just refreshing it, or if it really does mean that he's going to be included in trade talks and he was told that like, hey, we're going to probably move you. So I hope it don't happen. And the only way I'd be like even remotely okay with it is if we get a Walker Kessler type of center. So I don't know, Pacer Nation. Take that as what you will. And I still hope to see Cam Jones get some minutes at some point, guys. I want to see what he's capable of. And maybe we're playing Jarace more too lately to like highlight his or just boost his trade value too. I still think he's a trade candidate regardless of how he's been playing lately. I don't really see a spot for him on the team in terms of it, like in the rotation, especially if we add a top 4 pick, let's say, in the draft or whatever it may lie. Even if it's top 8, it's going to be a guy that probably is going to be in that role that like Walker would be in. So I don't see the fit after this season. And I think we can capitalize on his value if he continues to play better. And he's been shooting like way better from 3 lately. If you guys have listened to my podcast yesterday where I evaluate Shepard, Walker, and Furphy's performances this year, and I kind of cover the last 15 games and then last 5 games to see how they've been playing, if they've been improving their games. And Walker has the last 15 games shot like over 40% from 3. So we're starting to see it's really like a trend. It's not just like a blip, I guess. So maybe that'll convince teams to be excited about what they could possibly get out of Walker. And maybe you could trade like a Walker and Isaiah Jackson for Daniel Gafford. And I think that would be a no-brainer trade if we could get it for that. If you throw in like a second-round pick, I don't know. But whatever you got to do to sweeten the deal. Give Dallas some younger pieces to kind of build with Cooper Flagg. I think that makes a lot of sense. So I'm still on that. And like I said, I still want to see Cam Jones play some more, see what we got in him, and just really evaluate the young guys moving forward even more. But so fun game, guys. If you watched it, it was fun. Even if you want to watch a replay, it was definitely worth watching the replay. A quick game, it felt like, in my opinion. And like I said, no foul calls in the third quarter. That's just pretty crazy. So, but tomorrow, I'm going to do the recap for the Toronto game, and I may do another episode before that game as well. So be on the lookout for that. And if you hadn't listened to it yet, like I said earlier, I just said that I did an episode covering Walker, Shepard, and Furphy's development this year. And I also talk about like what their place is on the team. I kind of hinted at that already in this podcast about Walker, but I hadn't really said about Furphy and Shepard. But please go check that out if you guys are interested. It's very interesting looking at the numbers of the last 15 games to see if they've improved or not. But I really appreciate you guys listening, Pacer Nation, and I will talk to you soon.